Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondon and I'm the author of Enlightened Medicine, Your Power to Get Well Now, an integrative approach to healing the 7 deadly lifestyle diseases. And welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to this discussion on spirituality. And today my guides, my angels, and God encouraged me to talk about the following topic. And of course, in many of my videos, I talk about health and wellness. But in this video, we're talking about why getting healthy is essential to your spiritual journey. And we're not even talking about dabbling in health. We are talking about hardcore. So like I said, in a lot of my videos, I talk about getting healthy, healthy living, healthy being, healthy eating, healthy emotions, healthy relationships, but we are talking hardcore here. We are taking it to the next level. And here is why it is so important. We need to take this to the next level because we need you to help raise the vibrational consciousness of this planet. It is absolutely positively necessary, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Where we are in our journey, where we are in humanity, where we are on this planet is that we have never, ever been as sick as human beings as we are now, as a global whole. We're not talking about specific societies. We're not talking about one specific disease or epidemic. We are talking about a global epidemic of health, not only in humanity, not only in animals, but we're talking about in the environment and our planet. So if you're watching this video, you are a light worker designed to help raise the vibrational consciousness of this entire planet. And the only way you can do that effectively is by getting yourself healthy first. So you need to get yourself healthy. And this whole book, this entire book, Enlightened Medicine, Your Power to Get Well Now, is really designed for that purpose. And in fact, I didn't even know when I wrote it that that was the purpose of writing that book. I wrote the book kind of as a continuation of the discussion of the Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda. So this is the Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, an easy guide to a healthy lifestyle. So in this book, I really talk about the concept of Ayurveda and the 8 spokes of the wheel, and that the center of the wheel is your Dharma or your life purpose. So if you're watching this, then one of your life purposes is to help raise the vibrational frequency of the entire planet by your presence, by your love, by your caring, your compassion, your empathy, the way you feed yourself, the way you feed your kids, the way you feed your family, the way you treat others, the way you treat others in your work, in play, in the streets, the way you care about your planet. That is exactly part of your Dharma. And you cannot fulfill your Dharma, as I explain in this book, you cannot possibly fulfill your Dharma if you're not living a healthful life. Now, here's why I say it's hardcore right now. It's hardcore right now because for decades, we as Americans, and I'm just speaking to the American population here, if you're from Canada, if you're from the West, if you're from India, a lot of other countries have focused on health more or less, but as Americans, maybe Canadians, maybe Europeans, maybe Australians, but as a whole in Western societies, we have declined in health. And the reason is because for the past 40 to 50 years, instead of really focusing on health, we've kind of dipped our toes into health. So we've tried different diets. And in the Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, I talk about it, like the fat-free diet, the sugar-free diet, going back to the Atkins diet, or going to now we have like keto and paleo and all these really strange names for diets. When I was a kid, we had the Slim Fast diet. We did workout videos or workout DVDs or workout programs, or now what we have in the gyms now, we see YouTube videos and we try to work out. And we kind of dip our toes into health and well-being, and we tend to be very cyclical about it. So we do yo-yo dieting, or we diet for a time, then we go back to unhealthy eating, or we exercise for a time and then go back to unhealthy living. or sedentary lifestyle, and especially now in the electronic age, as we get more and more and more and more connected to our devices, we spend a lot more time sitting or in a sedentary state. The reason is that we have never been so unhealthy, and when you are unhealthy as a person, and when we are unhealthy as a collectivity, we're operating at a very, very low frequency, a low vibrational frequency. And when we're operating from a low vibrational frequency, we can't change much. We can't transform much. We can't even motivate ourselves to transform ourselves. So look at the obesity rate in this country. Look at the rate of diabetes in this country. In this book, Enlightened Medicine, I talk all about it, and I go through statistically what we have seen in the past 10 to 20 to 30 years. It is incredible. It's crazy what we've seen. We've seen like the doubling and tripling of diseases like diabetes. We've seen the tripling of heart disease. We've seen the tripling of addictions. Like, it is insane how fast and how crazy, like wildfire, that disease has just exploded. And we're talking about lifestyle diseases. We're talking about diseases for which you have a direct impact. Now, of course, I'm not going to be naive, and I'm not going to blame you, and I'm not going to play the shame, blame, and guilt game, because I don't do that. I think it's not useful in the healing journey. I think that if you stay in shame, blame, and guilt, those are very, very low frequencies. And how are you going to raise the vibrational frequency of a planet if you're staying in shame, blame, and guilt? So if you're like, oh man, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of overeating. I'm guilty of living a sedentary lifestyle. I'm guilty of not exercising. If you stay in that space, then you're not going to change anything. And not to mention that you'll feel bad, and feeling bad will make you actually live more of what you don't want. Live more of that unhealthy and sedentary lifestyle, and you don't want that. What I'm trying to do is educate you into seeing and thinking in a different way so that you're not stuck into old patterns. And when you're stuck in old patterns, you tend to go in a loop, and then that causes that type of yo-yo living, or that yo-yo ma. That's so funny. Can't believe I said that. You start to live in that yo-yo type of living where you're not actually doing anything. So you kind of like start something and then you stop, and you read something on a new diet or a new fad, and you start that and then you stop. So we're not talking about just doing extreme work. We're not talking about going to extremes and saying like, I'm going to get rid of all gluten, even though I'm not gluten intolerant. I guess that's the word. Or I'm going to get rid of all sugar, even though I'm not diabetic. I mean, we're not talking about going to extremes. We're talking about making gradual and sustainable changes so that you can raise your own vibrational frequency. So then in turn, you can live your life purpose by helping others raise their vibrational frequency too. It's like a ripple effect. So what we're talking about are sustainable changes. And we're not only talking about physical health, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about relationship health, we're talking about emotional health, healing your past, we're talking about embracing your spiritual side and embracing environmental changes and things that you can do at home in order to help the planet that's suffering so much because of so much destruction that we have done. So this is not even a question anymore of public policy. This is not even a question anymore of whose fault it is. It's not even a question of, am I financially ready to take this step? It's like, if you have feet and if you have a will and desire to change your life, you can change your life. You don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need any fancy gym membership. You don't need any really fancy foods. And I explain this in this book, actually, that you can eat pretty cheaply and eat healthfully. You don't have to eat a ton. So we're talking about helping you to help yourself in order to, in turn, live your life purpose and to help others. How does that look? Like, you might be wondering, like, yeah, that's all well and good, and philosophically it sounds great, and I don't want to do the work because the work just sounds like way too much work, and plus, I don't even know where to start. Start from actually the day-to-day. And one thing that I like to teach is that there are a few things that bring down our vibrational frequencies like super duper fast. When you consume certain things and you do certain behaviors, they actually work against you, and they work against you getting motivated to make those next changes. So one of those things is eating junk food, or eating foods that are processed and that are processed with a lot of chemicals, and that they've been severely altered. And I know it's the American way. I understand that grabbing something off a shelf, or grabbing a processed food, or going to a fast food place is so incredibly ingrained in our culture that quick fix, something that's easy, that's fast, that's high in sugars and fats. And I understand that we don't have a lot of time to cook sometimes. For the first time in my life, I'm actually working full time, and not the first time in my life, but a first time in a really, really long time. And I totally get this. I totally understand that it's not easy to change your patterns. It's not easy to not want to get that quick fix in food that's really super duper unhealthy, because you don't have the time. You don't have the energy, and you're tired at the end of the day. And I totally, totally get it. But in order for you to start to change your own vibrational frequency, to start to make better choices so that you can live your life purpose, you got to start somewhere. And I would say just pare back, like start just eliminating processed foods, eliminate canned foods, eliminate those prepackaged prepared meals that might be frozen. Even the prepared meals, a lot of them which are at the grocery stores, like that are very, very high in fat and high in processed ingredients, and you can usually tell by looking at the label if they're processed ingredients. You can usually see that right there. Just abstain from fast food. Really simple. Like, that is a simple, quick fix. Just abstain from fast food altogether. That's it. Pretty easy fix, right? And you're like, what do I eat then? One of the things that I do when I go to work every day is, I stop by the grocery store and I get a prepared salad. Now, it is a prepared food, but it has ingredients in it that's all vegetable and seeds and nuts and things that are healthy. You can most definitely do something like that. In almost every mainstream American grocery store, there is a salad bar. You can grab healthy things in the salad bar, put it in a container, and take it to work with you. So there's a lot of things you actually can do to overcome the objections of, like, what do I do if I'm not eating fast food, or I'm not going out to eat at lunch, or how do I prepare things for my family at night that's quick and easy? You can start small, start from there, but just something like eliminating soft drinks, eliminate those sodas, eliminate sugar drinks. Now, we've gotten fancy in the past 10 years. So we've gotten fancy because a lot of the soft drinks have been replaced with things like frappuccinos, which, guess what, folks, are still filled with tons of sugar and fat. Hello, we've just replaced one thing for another thing. Or we've replaced energy drinks with Coca-Cola. So it's the exact same thing. You're just shifting from here to here, but it's the same thing. And even be really super duper careful about the smoothies that tend to have a lot of sugar in them. So we're not talking about like just piling on the calories because you're trying to replace one thing with another thing. How about just like drinking water throughout the day? Don't drink anything with any calories or sugar in it. Just drink purified water, or distilled water, even better, or reverse osmosis water, which is even better. And I do talk about that in this book too. I really go through all the different types of waters that you can actually drink and what's healthier for your body versus unhealthy. And it's just because the way our water filtration system is done to drink tap water is that it's done with a lot of bleach and a lot of chlorine, and then now you're ingesting that into your system, which is not healthy. So distilled water is really good because it actually rises, it's the vapor. It's catching the vapors so that the heavy metals and the chemicals actually fall to the bottom. And so they're catching the vapor, which is actually just the water. So that is why you would prefer to drink distilled water or purified water Hopefully the purified water, it doesn't always have all the impurities out of it, but that's just an example. So it's really super simple. And another thing is just like getting on your shoes and actually walking every day. That's another thing. So we're talking about these really small changes, but then let's bridge to why it's actually important. For your spiritual journey, it's super important because you need energy to do anything. And if you're staying in a low vibrational frequency, which is a frequency of sickness, when you are unwell and you're feeling so incredibly sick that every day you have a different symptom, that because you're not eating the foods that you need to eat, because you're not exercising, because you're not honoring your body, because you are overeating, because you're living a sedentary lifestyle, that you have all of these symptoms of all of those behaviors. So you have acid indigestion, you have diarrhea, you have bloating, you have constipation, you have headaches, you have migraines because you're dehydrated and you're eating the wrong foods, and then you have the caffeine and the sugar high and the sugar low, and then you're feeling tired because you're not moving, and then your back hurts because you're sitting. So do you understand how, because of the way we live and because of the way we have been living, that we have so many symptoms that we are not able to function even in daily living, let alone doing something good for the planet and doing something good for our neighbors and doing something good for others and connecting with others on an authentic and real level and being able to help to raise the vibrational frequency of the planet by living from a higher place. So if I, as a light enlightened being, if me, Michelle, as a light worker, if I'm supposed to help to love people unconditionally in every step of the way, in every part of my life, whether it's the person at the gas station or whether it's the person at the checkout counter or one of my work colleagues or my kids or my friends or my family, like if I am supposed to be channeling this unconditional love and I'm feeling crappy, I'm not going to do a very good job of channeling that unconditional love, because what I am ingesting, what I'm putting into my body, what I am not doing with my body is going to make me feel very low energy at a very low frequency, and I'm not going to be able to do it because I won't have the energy to do it. I won't have the patience to do it. I won't have the wherewithal to be able to do it, to show up and be there for people, because I'm going to feel so incredibly gross on the inside that I'm just going to need to like curl up in a corner and like take care of myself or just like check out by watching TV. And believe me, guys, I don't really do that. As you can tell, I don't really do that. But there have been times in my life when I have done that. There have been times in my life when I didn't know how to show up for myself because I didn't know how to feed myself properly. And I really believe, and we'll talk about this earlier, but I really believe like early in my life that I did have an eating disorder. And I did do a lot of really extreme dieting, and I had a sugar addiction. And so I know what it's like. Like, I know what it's like to not eat the right things, not do the right things, and not being able to show up for yourself so you're not able to show up for other people. Like, I know that for a fact. I know what it's like. I haven't done it in a really long time. Now, granted, there are periods in your life where there may be a week or 2 weeks where you just don't feel good and you've been going through something emotional or something in your job or something in your finances or something in your family. And so you kind of check out and you just don't eat the right foods and you start not moving again and you do plop yourself in front of the television or YouTube or whatever and you're not watching even the right things. This at least is giving you motivation, hopefully, and energy, hopefully, and inspiration, hopefully, to go out there and do something. You know, I've been there. Where I was like, I just want to watch my favorite YouTuber about Disney and just like check out and not do anything. I was in that space about 3 to 4 months before I moved, where I wasn't sure if the move was going to happen and I wanted it to happen. And I was like so depressed because I knew there was a lot of adversity surrounding this move and I knew it was the right thing for me, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. And so like that period of my life, I did check out. Like I was like, I can't even function. Like I can't cope with life. And there was a lot going on in my emotional life too, my relationship life. And so like I didn't do the right things for myself all the time because I was in this state. But the commitment to yourself to live healthy so that you can live your spiritual mission, so you can live your life purpose, so you can show up on your spiritual journey for yourself and for others, it has to be a day-to-day event. It has to be. It has to be that you wake up early in the morning, that you show up for yourself, that you do your yoga, you do your meditation, that you know what you're going to be eating in the morning. So one of the things that I have shifted to now that I'm in Southern California and the weather hasn't been great for the past 3 weeks as far as being warm, but me being a Vata type, and if you've read my book, The Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, you know what that means, but the Vata mind-body type is comprised of space and air. And so I'm cold a lot of the times. So me living in a warmer climate is helpful for me to do things like I've made the commitment to drink a protein shake in the morning that I'm making. So I make it with coconut and coconut milk and pineapple and a banana and protein powder that's a vegan protein powder. And I put some cardamom and cinnamon and blackberries, and I drink this protein smoothie every day now in the morning, and that really gets me going in the morning with protein and fruit and like the right vegan lifestyle that's going to help me to elevate my consciousness, to help elevate my space. Now, I'm not vegan, you guys. I eat about 1 to 2 vegan meals a day. I am mostly vegetarian, as most of you know. Most of my adult life since I was 18 has been mostly vegetarian, mostly because I say from time to time I do eat chicken and fish, and I just do that for convenience purposes more than anything else. I do it out of convenience because sometimes when you're eating out with family, when you're eating out with friends, when you're sharing a plate with someone, it's just totally not convenient to be all vegetarian all the time. Sometimes you need that camaraderie. Sometimes you need that sharing. And for those of you that are total vegetarian, total vegan, please don't write me comments about that. You know, from time to time, it's actually okay. And in my book, The Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, I talk about the 90-10 rule. So like 90% of the time, you are living your healthful lifestyle. Okay? So if you're eating 21 meals in a week, 21 meals in a week, you do the math. 90% of 21 meals in a week is about 19 meals out of 21. That means the other 2 meals in the week, you can have wiggle room and play around with it and have some fun with it. Meaning like if you want to just have ice cream for dinner, Ayurvedically speaking, it's not recommended, but from a real practical life standpoint, you can't make yourself crazy. And you have to enjoy and have fun in life a little bit. And I'm not saying that having fun is about eating bad foods. I'm not saying that. Do not misconstrue what I'm trying to say here. What I am trying to say is that in an effort for being with other people and being a part of something, being part of a community, that if your father, which my father would make chicken curry and make the best chicken curry on the planet. So when I would go home to my father and he would make me chicken curry because he knew I loved it, that's part of being human. That's part of being part of a community. That's part of savoring that cultural aspect of who you are. And you can do that. It's okay. You can do that from time to time. I'm speaking more about the day-to-day. I'm speaking more about the day-to-day commitment to yourself to be steadfast in that healthy living pattern so that you feel energetic, so you feel good, so you don't feel sick, so you don't feel like you're struggling every day with your health and you don't have a different symptom or ailment every single day. And that you're just feeling like okay, that you're feeling subpar, and that you're not feeling the energy to be able to transmit that higher frequency and that energy of love and compassion and forgiveness and and just inspiration and being able to smile at people and being able to like make their day because you're funny and you're cracking jokes and you're feeling good on the inside. And when you're feeling good on the inside, others can read that. Others can feel that. Others can embrace that and take it in. And so when you show up like that in other people's lives, you raise their vibrational frequency. So by virtue of you being healthy and exercising and doing your yoga, tai chi, qigong, doing your running, doing your basketball playing, doing your volleyball, or whatever makes you tick in movement and even dance. And one of the things, as most of you know, that I love doing is I love salsa dancing, or any kind of dance really. I love dancing. So when you show up in that way, when you show up for yourself and you're able to live healthfully every single day and show up for yourself and like nurturing your body and taking care of it and raising your vibrational frequency by choosing the right foods, then you can show up for others in a way that can help to heal them. And you don't even have to be a healer in the traditional sense of healing. You know, you can heal someone with a smile. You can heal someone with laughter. You can heal someone with a compassionate ear by listening to them, being present with them, not having to look at your phone because you're so infused with anxiety that you can't make eye-to-eye contact with someone and be fully present for them. We're talking about healing your body at a cellular level first. And then when you begin to heal your body on a cellular level and you're able to eat the right foods and move your body in the right way and get up off the couch or the chair and being able to like move and be there for others and yourself, then you begin to process emotions better. Then you begin to hear the voice of your intuition better. And you begin to hear the voice of God better, that you're able to like hear things and have that internal hunch that says, go help this person, or call up this person, they really need you now, or donate to that charity because that charity really needs some help right now, or just go out there on the beach and start collecting like garbage and bottles and plastic that has been left there on the beach. So it's like you're able to show up for the things that need to be done on this planet. And if you're not healthy, you're not able to show up. And with about 3/4 of the planet being sick, especially in Western society, that it's crazy, you guys. So in my book, and this was just this past summer, so we're talking mid-2018, 175 million Americans suffer from at least one chronic disease. There are about 330 million Americans in the United States. So 175 million Americans who suffer from at least one chronic disease. That's crazy. That's totally nuts. And we're not even taking into account those who have not been diagnosed yet. We're talking about diagnosable diseases, meaning that these people have already gone to their doctors to figure it out. Those are the statistics we're talking about. We're not even talking about the millions of people who suffer from addiction each day, alcohol addiction, prescription pill addiction, street drug addiction, who have not gone to the doctors about their addiction. We're not talking about people with pre-diabetes who have not gone to the doctor about their diabetes. Like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the people that have already been diagnosed. So when you really look at the hardcore numbers of how sick we are as a society, that the only way we can turn this around and change it and start raising the vibrational frequency of the planet is by you individually making the decision and making the choices to get yourself healthier. And we're not talking about yo-yo dieting. We're not talking about starting a paleo diet, a keto diet, an Atkins diet, whatever it is. We're not talking about that. We're talking about making choices each and every day which are going to benefit your health and make you healthier so that you can help others get healthy. Because have you ever had a friend who worked on getting healthy for like a year, and they looked great, and they acted great, they were so much more energetic, they were happy, and they were bubbly, and you're like, what happened to you? And they're like, oh, I just started walking 3 miles a day, and I gave up soda, and I started eating a salad a day. Like, they didn't even make any drastic changes. But all of a sudden, by virtue of how they presented themselves, they kind of inspired you. You're like, whoa, I can do that. And so just imagine that if you show up for yourself and make these changes for yourself, imagine how many people are in your circle of friends, your circle of influence, and how many people that you can inspire. And that is the way we're going to heal the planet, guys. It's not by a global movement anymore. This is not the way we're doing things. It's not by fad diets. It's not by fad exercise programs. It's not by buying the latest equipment. It's not that anymore. What is needed now is individuals making an impact and a difference in their own lives and inspiring and influencing others to do the same thing. So that is the way we're going to raise the vibrational frequency of the earth, because the earth is not going to change on its own. Our planet is so sick, and just, like I said, pick up this book. If you're skeptical about the whole fact that we have made our planet so incredibly sick, it's Enlightened Medicine, Your Power to Get Well Now. It's kind of long. I do have it on audiobook, so if you go to Audible and look up this title, it's actually my voice reading it to you for about 8.5 hours. But if you have a commute to work, if you're taking the metro, if you're taking the bus, driving into work, you can listen to it on Audible. But I really went into deep research on what the heck is going on. And the problem is, it's not going to change overnight. It's just not. The way public policy moves oh so slowly, the way capitalism is in the sense that a lot of large corporations kind of rule the world, and that's not going to change. That is absolutely not going to change. The fact that pharmaceutical companies are drugging people to death and that people are accepting it, that's not going to change. So the only way that we're going to get healthier is by a bunch of individuals making the changes on their own and saying no to prescription pills and saying yes to healthy living and yes to organic foods and yes to stopping the market of buying processed foods and fast foods. Because if we as consumers stop buying, that's the only voice that's going to make any sense to large corporations, right? That's our only voice, is the choices we make and the products that we buy. So if you're just buying organic fruits and veggies and organic soy and organic whatever, and just abstaining from all the processed foods and the bigger companies that sell all these products, they're going to see their numbers go down. If they see their numbers go down, they're going to be like, whoa, what just happened here? Something went wrong. And also about the prescription pills. And when you're healthy, when you're feeding yourself healthy foods, when you're moving, when you're honoring your emotions, when you're honoring your spiritual health, then you need less prescription pills. So do you understand? Like, all of this has a ripple effect. All of this is integrative. You cannot separate the parts of your health, and you can't separate the parts of your health and how healthy or unhealthy you are with the rest of the planet, because we are a collectivity. And that's the way you need to start seeing things, is that we are a collective. And so if you as an individual, if you are unhealthy, then you are, okay, I don't want to be harsh, but you are dragging the collectivity into that low vibrational frequency. And it's not just one person. So it's each individual who's making the choices to stay not healthy that is keeping the vibrational frequency of the planet low. So by you individually making the conscious choice to make better choices for yourself, then in turn, you're starting to raise that vibrational frequency. So do you understand how this works? So it's so important for your spiritual journey, guys, Not to mention that you really cannot hear the voices of your angels, the voices of God, the voice of your intuition, if you prefer to use that word, if you're feeling bad, if your body isn't feeling good, if you are not exercising this body. So thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel below. Share this video with friends, family, and your yoga dog. And thank you for pledging your support on Patreon. There are a couple ways in which you can help me in this YouTube channel. One of the ways is to buy a book, buy the whole collection of books, and give them to friends. And if you have read any of my books, another way you can help is by leaving a review on Amazon and Goodreads for the book that you have read. That's super helpful, because if I am by myself in this particular journey, and we're just talking about the journey here through writing my books and speaking to you guys on YouTube, I can help raise the vibrational frequency of the planet if I am exposed to more people. And the way that my message can be exposed to more people is through my books and my YouTube videos. And in that way, if there are more reviews, more people become aware of the books. If there are more subscribers on YouTube and you're telling people about the videos and supporting me on Patreon, for example, then more people can become aware that they need to start raising the vibrational frequency of the planet. Does that make sense? So this is all for you guys. It's all for our planet. It's all for our collective and our community. So thank you so much for your pledge and your support. www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin. And I will see you in the next video.